Before you order your next chicken pot pie, hear this. One decision can be the difference between a hug in a bowl and a bowl of salty gravy wearing a crust like a hat. Tonight, we're taking the guesswork out of comfort food roulette. I pulled together a broad sweep of diner feedback from major review sites and forums, and built a simple scorecard: crust texture, filling quality, chicken-to-veggie balance, seasoning, and overall satisfaction. What follows is a clean ranking of chain restaurant chicken pot pies in the US, from the biggest letdowns to the quiet legends that actually deliver. A few names will surprise you. Stick with me to the end, because the top two are not what most people expect. You would think the brand that built an empire on chicken would crush a chicken pot pie. On the menu it sounds fine: flaky crust, signature chicken, peas, carrots, potatoes, savory sauce. In practice, too many diners report a different story. The crust gets a few polite nods, but the filling is where the disappointment lands. Reviews regularly mention heavy potatoes, a sauce that bulldozes everything else, and most importantly, a frustrating lack of actual chicken in far too many bites. Filling and the chicken must have left the building. That is not a good sign. If you are at KFC, the safer order is still the bucket. Number 8, Cracker Barrel. On paper, this should be the homestyle winner. Cozy dining room, nostalgia everywhere, slow-simmered chicken, creamy sauce, golden crust. Square cracker perched on top, more of a lift-off lid than a true pastry that bakes with the filling. Leans heavy on carbs and light on chicken, and you get a dish that feels more like vegetable stew with a lid. The flavor can be pleasant, but raw-ish dough is an automatic no. Cooked through. Number 7, P.J. Clark's. Historic saloon vibes, celebrity history, and a cheddar cheese crust set expectations sky high. The problem is consistency. Some guests rave that it is everything a cold day pot pie should be: creamy, comforting, generous. Others get a dry crust that reads like commercial dough, and a thin, soupy filling that needs seasoning. When a single dish swings between perfect and bland, depending on the day or location, you are paying premium prices to roll the dice. That inconsistency keeps it anchored in the lower middle of the pack. Number 6, Boston Market. On paper, this is a slam dunk. Roast a bird beautifully, chop it up, and tuck it under pastry. Plenty of fans still praise the golden crust and familiar rotisserie flavor, and when it is on, it is satisfying in the exact way you want. But longtime regulars have noticed what feels like a slide in quality. Recent reviews talk about greasy texture, heavy reliance on dark meat scraps, and a pie that tastes more oily than savory. The potential is huge, and some locations still hit it. The inconsistency and the trend line are what keep it from climbing higher. Number 5, Greg's Restaurants and Taverns, a small Rhode Island chain with a huge menu. The core ingredients often get compliments for tasting fresh, which is a strong start. Two recurring issues hold it back: an overcooked crust and not enough gravy to tie it all together. When pastry runs dry and the filling lacks sauce, you lose the lusciousness that defines the dish. Add portion size complaints for the price, and even with decent fundamentals, the value equation lands in the middle. Now for the good news. Number 4, Cheddar Scratch Kitchen. The name telegraphs the promise, and the pie backs it up. Call the star. This is the first entry where the praise becomes consistent. Real pieces of chicken, a crust that shatters the way it should, and a flavor that reminds people of home in the best way. Minor quibbles exist. Some say it is a touch crust forward. Others find it good, not transcendent. But you are no longer troubleshooting basics like raw dough or watery filling. It is reliable, balanced, and genuinely scratch tasting. We enter the top 3 and move from very good to memorable. Number 3, Marie Callender's. If a brand should know pastry, it is this one. The Heartland Chicken Pot Pie leans into what they do best: a hand-pressed crust that actually tastes like pastry, plus large chunks of chicken and vegetables in a classic cream sauce. The trifecta of flaky crust, generous filling, and well-seasoned gravy shows up again and again in guest feedback. The recurring ding is temperature. Too many people get it warm instead of piping hot. It is still delicious when it's warm, but comfort food is supposed to steam when you pull back the lid. That small execution miss is all that holds it at bronze. Number 2, Mimi's Bistro and Bakery. Part American comfort, part French technique. Same familiar ingredients: roasted chicken, potatoes, peas, carrots, but a cream sauce with herbs and a beautiful laminated pastry crown gives it a lift. What stands out is focus. Even reviewers who find other dishes hit or miss call the pot pie the clear winner, sometimes the best thing on the menu. Pastry color is textbook golden. The seasoning has dimension, the filling feels complete instead of just thick. As important, the complaints that dog others, lukewarm centers, skimpy chicken, gummy dough, do not show up here with any frequency. Elegant, hearty, and consistent earns Mimi's the runner-up slot. Number 1. Claim Jumper Steakhouse and Bar. A steakhouse taking the crown for pot pie is unexpected until you hear the backstory. They have used essentially the same recipe since 1977 and bake the pies fresh daily. Earthy depth that makes the cream sauce taste crafted instead of generic. The crust is reliably flaky, the sauce is savory, and the filling has weight without becoming stodgy. The only complaint you see repeat is that it comes out so hot people burn their mouths and still order it again. That is exactly the problem. You want with a dish built on warmth. A time-tested formula, fresh execution, and the most passionate praise put Claim Jumper on top. So what is the pattern across the winners and the weak links? The best versions do 3 simple things and do them every time. First, they respect the pastry. A pot pie is not stew with a flatbread. The lid should bake with the filling, puff, and shatter. Second, they season the sauce instead of just thickening it. Flavor beats viscosity. Third, they do not hide the chicken, real pieces, not a scavenger hunt. When any one of those 3 falls down, gummy or raw dough, gluey bland gravy, or a filling that leans heavy on potatoes and peas, you feel it with every bite. If you are craving pot pie and want to improve your odds anywhere, use this quick cheat sheet before you order. Scan photos from recent reviews to see crust color and height. Look for actual laminated layers and puff instead of a flat slab. If you see pale or doughy centers in photos, move on. Read a handful of newest comments for the words hot, flaky, and chunks of chicken. Those 3 signal execution. Avoid places where soupy, mushy, or no chicken show up more than once. Finally, if the restaurant serves it under a pastry lid that was baked separately, temper expectations. It can be tasty, but it will rarely feel like a true pie. If you are still with me, tell me your city in the comments and the best pot pie within 20 minutes of you. I might spotlight the most common picks in a follow-up. And if I missed a local gem that deserves national love, put it on my radar. Thanks for watching. If this guide helped you dodge a disappointment or discover a new favorite, tap like so more people can find it, and consider subscribing for more clean, no-fuss rankings of the foods you actually eat. Until next time, may your crust be flaky, your sauce be hot, and your spoon hit chicken on the very first scoop.